Alrighty, this is kind of spur of the moment, so forgive the unprofessionalness of everything. We are going to learn some very just fundamental martial art techniques that can be used for fitness and also for self-defense. We're going to learn one punch and we're going to learn one block. Very, very simple stuff, but I'm going to give a lot of details of how to do these, and maybe they'll just help understanding of certain martial art techniques and why we do what we do. A lot of techniques have been changing over the years, and people think that you can take out the art form of martial arts and they think that they can cut corners. Well, you can't cut corners if you want to be good at something like martial arts and be a very efficient fighter. Martial arts, again, is not only good for the mind, but good for the body, mind, and soul. It's good for all of these aspects, and we shouldn't ever cut corners. So one of the things that gets took out is discipline. Discipline is something that's very, very important in the martial art world. When you cut corners, you are more liable to make mistakes. So something we do in traditional martial arts are things like fixed stances and forms in taekwondo, karate, things of these natures. And so we don't want to take those out because of what makes us more an efficient fighter. So why would we hold our hands up like this instead of just right here in front of our face? It doesn't mean that we wouldn't fight like this in reality, but there's an old proverb or an old saying, if you're a shooter, if you ever shot a gun, if you aim small, you're going to miss small. Because when you're in the heat of passion, adrenaline is going, you're more liable to make a mistake. So you want to overtrain, over-discipline yourself so you don't make those mistakes in a real fight if something were to happen to you. So again, we're going to learn one block, one punch, and we're going to go from there. Okay? So what we're going to be learning today, we're going to be using a horse stance or a sitting stance. They call this because it looks like we're riding a horse. So let me show you how my feet look really fast. And I'll just make a little adjustment here so you can see my feet. Now, the idea of this is that my toes are facing forward. I'm sitting down as low as I can possibly go. And when we do these punches and do this block, our hands will be on our hip here. Now, our palms will be starting upward. So when they're on our hip, they're going to be facing up. If I turn to the side for a side profile, my hands are not out here. They're going to be right back here, right on my hip. Again, palm facing up. When we do a punch, we want to make sure that when we punch, we're punching with these two knuckles. The first two big ones right here. Right on this flat part, here to here. Pointer finger, middle finger. If you have to turn your hand a little bit, that's fine. They line up right here with this bone. Okay? When we do our block, we're going to learn some bones really quick. I'm going to teach you two bones. They're called the radius and the ulna. Okay? So if you hold your hand like this and you put your thumb up in the air like you're giving okay, take your two fingers, run along the top. This top bone's called your radius. Okay? We can use that to block, especially when we flex, the muscle comes up across, and we use that as a part to block. Okay? Now you got your thumb up, the okay. Now you take your pinky, put that out there, touch the bottom, run your hand along. There's a bone right there. It's called the ulna. Okay? So radius, ulna. Radical. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, let's bring this back up so you kind of know what my feet were doing. Now, palms are up. We're going to extend one hand. Now the hand that's punching, the palm is facing down. Palms facing down, palm facing up. Okay? Now I'll show you in full and then I'll break it down just a little bit here for you. Alrighty. Now, all of our power from the ground up, from my toes all the way up to my hip. You can tell I'm rotating a little bit. I turn my body as I go. I'm using my hip. So watch what my hands do. I'll do the action of the punch, but without actually punching. See I come up, see how my hands turn? Up, up. I'm generating more power because I'm using my hip. Slow it down again. Okay. So, it's again, using my hip. I'm gonna come up on my toes a little bit, come down. Turn this down just a little bit so you can see my feet. Just like that. Okay. So, that is our basic punch. And when we punch, we want to make sure that our arm stays just a little bit bent. We don't want to lock it. A little bit bent. Okay? Because we don't want to hyperextend. That would damage and that would hurt. Little bend, not too much. Right about here. Knuckles protrude out. Okay? So, from here, we're going to learn a block, an outward forearm block. All right? Now, you have a block. You can use radius side, outward forearm. Here, we're going right, palm facing forward, right to the outside. That pinky side, what was that bone? Pinky side is ulna. We're using that ulna bone. Now, we can defend head, chest. I could block up here. I could defend my sternum, this area. When we fight, it won't always look like this in a fixed stance. But again, aim small, miss small. When I fight, I can block, I can punch, and my stance might look a little different. But my form, because I discipline myself, I'm going to make smaller mistakes. That's why we do fixed stances. Forms we do so we can train. If we didn't have a master, if we didn't have to train on our own, they simulate a fight. That's why we do forms, and they're very important. Lots of other reasons why we do them. So, let's learn the block. Okay? So we're here in the same stance. We're going to have our hand out, one on our hip, one in front. We're going to go punch, use the same arm, rotate in to out. Using that outer forearm, the ulna bone, to block and pull away from anything coming towards us from center mass. That's going to hurt our face, sternum. I'm going to go in and pull it away. Punch, block. So I'm going to show you in full really quick. Okay. Punch, in to out. Punch, in to out. Punch, in to out. Now, this is a very effective block. It can pull away a really heavy strike. Quick story, my brother Ben was in a tournament one time. He had a guy coming at him, flurry of punches, and something we learned in Taekwondo. Every block is a strike. And no more was that true than this moment, because he did a forearm block, and he took his whole arms, both arms, boom, pushed them away, and he ended up clipping him right here in the side of the jaw, and ended up almost knocking him out. It's a very powerful block. Not necessarily what it's intended for, but if you do it with enough power and use your hips, that's what that means. Every block is a strike. It's powerful. Boom. take everything away. It can be added on from, you can block, do a cross, either arm, it doesn't matter. Again, you learn it difficultly, if that can be a word, and you train with it and train with it and train with it in that fashion, and that way you're going to miss small. And that's why you do that sort of thing. So those are our blocks. Now, becoming stronger in martial arts, fitness is a huge thing. Push-ups, sit-ups, constantly pushing ourselves, making ourselves stronger, no matter how old we get. And I'm getting a little bit older, I feel that arthritis kicking in. So let's break down even doing push-ups. If you're just a beginner, you're starting bare bones and you don't feel strong in any way. So a lot of people, they'll be like embarrassed, oh, I can't even do one push-up. Okay, lots of variables that you can do to start doing a push-up. One, you can very easily do a push-up on a wall. Hands, go here, and do a push-up. Okay, that's one way. Notice how my elbows rub my ribs as I go down. Now from here, let me show you a couple different variables. First off, our backs need to be straight. We're going to go on our knees here. And as we do these, my hands need to be aligned with my shoulder. Okay? Fingertips facing forward. Elbows rubbing along my rib cage as I go down and come back up. If you can do one push-up like normal, okay, maybe you're burnt out, go to your knees, do one more, just like that. You get even more worn out, go to the wall. Doing something is better than nothing. Don't be discouraged because you can't do many. You build yourself up. Very rarely does somebody go from 0 to 100 on anything. You have to work for it. You have to try. You have to make that effort. So, start somewhere because you're already further along. If you start somewhere, start small. And don't care about if you can't be masterful or have 100. You got to start where you can and build up from there. And that's the most important part. Don't ever get down on yourself when you can't do what everybody else can do. You start where you can. Simple as that. So, straight punch, outward forearm block, and just those simple getting exercise, work on push-ups and simple things of that, and start from wherever your level is and work your way up. I'm sweating already just from doing a few punches and sit-ups or push-ups. And if you do those techniques with power, a lot of force, they work as workouts as well. And it's one of the ways I got into shape myself, was started in martial arts. It's very exhausting and it's very beneficial. So, rough draft on this video. Thanks.